Hello, you're very welcome along to another episode of Matchbook Meets. I'm your host, Daniel Hussey, and I'm delighted to welcome Matchbook's brand new horse racing brand ambassador, Olly Murphy. Olly, welcome to the show. How's things?
Thanks very much. Yeah, good, Dan. Looking forward to it.
It's the busy time of year, isn't it?
Really busy. 3 weeks. Today we started Chepstow, so doing a rain dance. Really looking forward to getting going, and we're desperate for some rain here in Britain.
Yeah, exactly. And you're saying there's a lot of sales on at the moment today, so you're just flat out at the moment.
Yeah, there's plenty going on. There's an online sale at the moment as we speak. Jumped plenty horse this morning. Entries closing for Perth at 12 o'clock. So it's non-stop here at Warren Chase this morning.
Well, listen, Olly, thanks so much for taking the time. And if viewers or listeners do see Olly looking to his left, that's just him keeping an eye on the online sales. There's no panic there. But if you are looking or listening to us, do give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That'd be much appreciated. But yeah, Olly, take me back to the start, I suppose. How did you get involved with horses growing up?
I've obviously been involved in horses all my life. My mum trained for 30 years under the name of Annabelle King. I was kind of brought up through the sport. My dad's a bloodstock agent, so unfortunately, in later life, I wasn't given too much of a chance to do anything else.
And so, was it always a passion of yours then, based on your mom and dad, or was there anything else? Sort of like at one point, did you say, "Oh, I don't actually want to be involved in this horses," or was it almost like you said, you just weren't given a choice at all?
I was mad on my football as a kid. I've always enjoyed my horse racing. I actually had trials for Coventry City as a 13, 14 year old.
Oh
So
wow!
I took my football seriously at a younger age, and then obviously racing, the passion of racing took over, and I got an amateur rider's license at the age of 16, and booted in a few winners, and then the rest is history.
Just quickly on Coventry City. So, how did the trial go? What position were you in, and all that?
Played up top.
Oh, okay.
Liked finding the back of the net. Listen, I was very, very keen on my football. Trials didn't go as I'd like, took my football very seriously as a kid. Take it very seriously now as a supporter as well. It's a real strong passion of mine.
Yeah, we'll get into Aston Villa shortly. On your riding career, then. So you said 16, you got your amateur license.
Yeah, this bit won't take very long, but
Yeah.
rode 30 winners, rode 24 winners as a point-to-point rider, and rode 6 under rules. So was lucky. Rode some nice horses that had plenty of experience. Went and worked for a trainer called Chris Bilby after that, who was training a lot of young horses to run in point of points. And I grew up and out, and it was sooner rather than later, it was time for me to hang my boots up and then concentrate on the training side of things.
And while you were riding, were you always thinking, I want to become a trainer, or was there ever a thought that I want to be a top jockey in the professional game for you? Or
I thought when I started out I wanted to be a jockey, but yeah, my weight was always an issue. So that was a path that was stopped fairly abruptly. And then the training side of things really interested me, and that love of the side of the sport took over from the riding side.
so on the training side of things, when you started off, assistant training, all that, what was your first kind of gig, and when did it become apparent that you were going to move over to Ireland to join Gordon?
Yeah, I spent a couple of summers in Gordon's, and as I said, I was getting heavier, and riding definitely wasn't going to be a career path I went down. So one thing I've never shied away from is how lucky I am to have a home place here in the heart of Warwickshire in England, to come back and attempt to train a racehorse from, if that's what I wanted to do. And I went over to Gordon's as assistant, and his place grew. My job kind of got bigger there, and I had an unbelievable time there. Some great memories from Ireland, and it was a very special place for me. And I absolutely loved it. Learned loads. Was associated with some fantastic horses. My time there, from Tiger Roll to Don Cossack. Had some fantastic memories.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it there, but I'd say the stable that you walked into at Gordon's compared to the stable you walked out of was probably night and day, was it?
Yeah, it was a good way of putting it. Listen, that was nothing to do with me. I was
Oh
just
well.
I was just happy to be there working for a fantastic trainer at a great time, and to see his place grow and better horses coming each year. It was a privilege to be part of it. I'm very proud to say that I worked there for 5 years. To me, he's the best in the business. I've taken a lot of things from his way of training over to England, from a gallop to feed, the way of training a racehorse, and I've him to thank for an awful lot of kind of the reason for my good start into training racehorses.
And it's kind of a tough question because you touched on a lot of the kind of topics when you ask, like, what did you learn from Gordon? There's something specific that stands out for listeners that might not be aware? Because you mentioned the feed there, so straight away I'm like, oh, what's the difference there?
Yeah, I suppose just the one thing when I came home, I if things weren't going to work out, I didn't want to go, God, what if I didn't put the same gallop in as Gordon, and what would have been different if I kept the facilities the same and the food the same and the same bridles and the same pads you put under a saddle and the same routine of how you hay them and the same feed times and the same time start finish of an evening. So I just kept everything the same. And if I was going to start bad and it wasn't going to work out, I'd have hopped back on a plane and gone back and live the rest of my life in Ireland. And that's the God's honest truth. If I had a bad start or I wasn't going to have enough ability to train horses, I would have gone back to Ireland and gone and worked alongside Gordon again, no doubt. So yeah, I just didn't want to complicate things when I came back. Kept as many things as similar to Gordon as I possibly could. It's what I knew, and I just didn't try and complicate things.
Were you uncomfortable going out on your own? Was any part of you kind of like you kind of touched on it there again, that you had that to fall back on with Gordon if it didn't work out, but were you confident in yourself that you could make it work?
Yeah, I was, but at the same time, I was stepping into the unknown. It's the one thing I always knew when I was an assistant is if you had a bad day, you were hiding behind the main man. You could go home. If you left for work at 4:30, yes, I'd take a bad day home with me, and I'd be disappointed when Horse of Gordon's ran bad. I was in it with him, but it's an awful lot different when you're on your own. You're that name above the stable door. If something goes wrong, on your head be if X, Y, or Z isn't done, it's you. I've got an assistant now, and he's in the position I was in with Gordon. And yes, you get disappointed, but at the same time, you can go home at the end of the day, and it's not you on the headline if something's gone wrong or gone bad.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about setting up the team. So obviously, like, people will be kind of thinking about you going out on your own. You obviously had an idea of what team you wanted in place. Were you approaching people before you started off training at who you wanted as your assistant trainer, for example?
Yeah, it was a tough decision getting good staff in. It was one thing I learned from Gordon as well, that good staff make good horses and make your job an awful lot easier. So yeah, I've still got some staff with me now that started out with me. I have a different assistant who came in shortly after I started. Jared Tumilty, who's ridden as a professional jockey for Alan King. Martin Davini's my head man, who's a wealth of experience from working in Ireland. So yeah, I have a big team behind me, a passionate team, a young team. They're as hungry as me for winners, and I'm only 31 years old, and a lot of my staff are older than me. So, do you know, there's a sense that you look up to a lot of people that work for you, which is a little bit different. Usually it's the other way around. But yeah, we work hard and play hard and enjoy winning. And when we lose, we kind of work out why we've lost and kind of we're all in it together. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned your age there. So what age were you starting off?
26, turning 27.
Wow.
So yeah, the whole thing snowballed fairly quick now. My first runner was a winner, and there were horses coming in left, right, and centre. The good, the bad, and the ugly wanted to come inside the gates, and we got big in a short space of time. And there was a lot to take on. And days I was thinking, Christ, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I've got numbers coming from everywhere. But at that stage, you don't care. You just take everything you can get. Take a good horse, take a bad horse, take this, take that. And
yeah.
I'm training for some of the biggest owners in racing now, and I'm very privileged to be training for these people. I've got syndicates that have been with me since day one, sole owners which have been with me since day one. I've still got owners that have got a budget of £5,000. I've got owners that have got a budget of £250,000. it's all the same to me. I just want to win. Of course, I want to win on the big stage, but winning with a punty type of horse as well still gives me a buzz, because they're the people that got me going, you know?
Yeah, and do you find that you've got better at saying, I suppose no is the wrong way of putting it, but maybe sort of not taking on too much too soon, I guess, was probably a learning curve starting off.
I'd always take a horse on, but I'd be very blunt now when a horse came into me. If it wasn't good enough or wasn't going to perform, that owner would be getting told within 8 weeks. If you can get that owner in the door and they've got a horse that's not going to give them any fun or any satisfaction on the racetrack, you tend to try and move that horse on, and hopefully that owner might just stay with you for being honest and go and buy a horse that they can have some fun with. So yeah, I'd take everything in through the door and just try and weed out the horse that don't have ability.
And do you enjoy that side of things in terms of dealing with owners, syndicates? Like, syndicates must be probably the most fun to deal with, but sometimes like you've got 20 different opinions. Like I know from knowing a few syndicates myself.
Yeah, so we try and have a syndicate manager, so you're just dealing with one person. But
Gotcha.
COVID brought in a lot of videos and this and that and doing voice recordings, which is probably a good thing, which gives syndicates more of an indication of what's going on a more regular basis than probably prior to COVID. So that was one positive to come out of COVID, that communication for a lot of things is probably a lot better now from what it was with most trainers.
And it snowballed your training career, Ollie. Is there sort of we'll get into quickfire in terms of highlights, but was there a moment, a winner that kind of stands out to you when you said that was a massive day and I was right to go out my own training?
Yeah, probably when I won the big handicap at Christmas in Ascot. Jack Kennedy came over and rode Hunter's Call, and it was the first big winner I had. There was a few quid for the horse, thought it was well handicapped. First run for me, and Johnny bolted up, flew Jack Kennedy over. Obviously knew him well from Gordon's, and that was a good day, and that was the day when I thought, right, yeah, this is for me, winning on the big stage, and made me hungrier for more success. And what that horse has done for my career is massive. He's been a star. I wish he was a real sound horse, because he's missed a lot of time off as well, you know. But he's he put my name on the map, Dan, and he's always a horse who's he's above my mantelpiece and my living room. He'll stay there for a while.
Brilliant. And Hunter's Call was a horse you got from you've done that a few times in terms of taking horses from other trainers. It's sort of like, if you take a football analogy, be like transfer window, getting a player maybe out on loan or something like that. Is that something you take pride in, maybe trying something a bit different with a horse that you get into the yard?
Yeah, 100%. He came from a man called John Neelan. He was a horse who was performing at a fair level in Ireland. Tom Malone actually bought him for his current owners. And early on in my training career, we were kind of renowned for improving, getting a tune-out horse that had been elsewhere. I've soon come to grips with the fact that every trainer in England and Ireland lose horses and they go somewhere else and win a race for someone else. It's not a foregone conclusion. They leave Willie Mullins, they leave Gordon Elliott, they leave Olly Murphy, Dan Skelton, Fergal O'Brien, Paul Nicholls, Nicky Anderson, you name them. Horse will leave big yards and they'll go and win for other trainers, and that's just the way it is. But I did enjoy doing that when I started out, but I did only have that kind of budget to go and buy those types of horses, so I didn't have a lot of choice. But it worked well for me to start.
Brilliant. And then take it to say, like, the perfect example of a horse, you buy them young, you bring them up through the rankings. For those that aren't too into horse racing, talk to us a little bit about how they start off. They start off in bumpers and work their way up. So what are you kind of looking at with a young horse in terms of when you decide they're ready to have their first race?
Yes, we'll start the majority of our horses off in a bumper, which is obviously a national hunt flat race. I tend to start them off in a bumper. They learn how to race, learn how to breathe, learn how to settle, see what a paddock is before they have to go and jump a hurdle. And so we start there, and then we go novice hurdling, and then they might stay handicap hurdling, and then if they've got lots of scope and size, they might go steeplechasing after that. And again, it just all depends what kind of pedigree they have and the size and stature of them and the way they jump. But we'd always start them off in a bump with a view to kind of making a chaser out of them 3 or 4 years down the line.
And then in terms of race planning, maybe moving on to some of the older horses, like take some of your stars, like Bruno for Storm, for example. Is it easy enough now that, given that he's been on the road for a while, to plan his year ahead, or are you planning his year ahead? Are you taking it one race as it comes?
Yeah, horses like him are relatively easy to kind of plan their season. probably less so a novice and where you want to go, whether you go down the handicapping route or the graded route, or what route you're going down. But it's one thing I get a good buzz out of now. I like doing a lot of my race planning, and like finding certain races for certain horses. Obviously, I've got 125 plus horses now. I have a man, Scott Solkel, that I employ, who's a race planner and form analysis man. So he helps me an awful lot, which is a good help as well. And yeah, you can't get enough different angles in this game. You've got to just try and be one step ahead to everyone else.
I was lucky to visit your yard, Olly, and when you talk about race planning there, I was kind of watching your training schedule and planning for the day. So that's something that is as important for you as race planning, because obviously if a horse has 3 weeks to race compared to a horse that's just back in the yard, for example, they're two different things, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. The hard work's done at home, Dan.
Yeah.
Obviously the prep of getting these horses ready to get to the races. I tend to think it takes a horse 12 weeks from field to a racetrack if you get a clean run. So yeah, a lot of mine 8 or 9 weeks into their training program now. Just start to turn the screw with a few. They'll go away from home and do a serious bit of work next week. They're all doing lots of jumping. So yeah, I do enjoy being at home. Probably going racing a little bit less than I used to now. As yeah, the important work's done at home. I've got an assistant that can go racing plenty, and
Okay.
I enjoy going racing as well, and looking after owners. But there's plenty of the time now I would be staying at home.
That's interesting that, yeah, you're more like a manager, you like the training ground aspect of the job, and that's ultimately the passion, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. That's where the hard work's done. That's where kind of I unearth a good horse and
Yeah.
can find out what's what. So yeah, I do enjoy the mornings now. Early starts, doing the board, sorting things out, just trying to unearth that next good one. And it's one thing we're all looking for. I'm looking for my next Growing Up a Storm and Thomas Darby, Itchy Feet, and hopefully there's one amongst them, Dan. But that's the dream, you know.
So when you say early morning, I'm scared to ask this, but how early is early for you?
My alarm goes off 6 o'clock, so I'll be up in the yard at 10 past, 6:15. So that's how our day starts off. We do the board, get everything organised with my assistant Jared and headman Wingy. So yeah, we take 45 minutes then to sort the morning out, and then on the horse is 7 o'clock sharp, and then we get going for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, that must be some buzz going into that yard every morning. The sun coming out, and it's all yours. And it's like you said, it's looking for that next sort of champion, that next Brewing Up a Storm, like you said.
Exactly. And we've a lot of lovely young horses around the place with good pedigrees, and you dream. That's why you get up in the morning. That's when that alarm goes off. You
Yeah.
jump into your set of jeans and get out the door as quick as you can to go and try and find that next good one. That's what keeps you going.
And in terms of aspirations as a trainer, like, are you a goal setter in terms of I want to achieve this in 4 or 5 years or down the line, or are you kind of like day by day, day by day?
I want to be the best. Of course I do. Of course I do. I've always, all my life, I've wanted to be the best at whatever I do, whether it's having a game of squash or playing football or whatever. I've always wanted to be the best. I'm no different now training a racehorse. Listen, I'm under no illusions. I'm only 5 years into training. That takes time. You need big owners, which I've got. You need lots of big owners. You need deep pockets, and you need to train the best horses and have the best staff and the best facilities to be the best. And hopefully we're on a rise to that. I've got really supportive owners that have been very supportive to me, and just need to keep buying horses, keep doing well with the horse you've got, and hopefully you can kind of climb that trainer's table.
Yeah, with those supportive owners, and you mentioned buying horses at the sales, and we've obviously been involved with a video series, and it's a brilliant series. It's in the description there if anyone wants to watch it. About you, we followed you to the Derby sale and buying horses at the sales. But for those that haven't watched that, tell us a little bit about the sales and what's involved there. And obviously, there's an online sales going on at the moment. Just tell listeners a little bit about that.
Yeah, sales obviously are very important. Gordon told me when I left, if you don't win the sales ring, you won't win on the racetrack. So it's very important that you're active at sales, buying new horses, sending horses to the sales that can't win. You've got to keep active. So yeah, I enjoy doing the sales, enjoy buying new horses. Plenty of people would say I'm ballsy. I go to the sales and buy plenty of horses on spec without owners and get them home and find owners for them when I get home. And I tend to think when I buy them, I buy a horse because I think it'll win races, and you put yourself under pressure to come home and find the right man for them. So yeah, we've lots of new horses in the yard, carry on buying horses, and yeah, sales are very important.
Yeah, and there's a lot of homework, I guess, involved if you're making the call. So pedigree would be a massive factor there.
Yeah, big time pedigree confirmation. A little bit different when they've got a bit of form. They've been there and done it, but certainly buying an unraced horse now, you'd want to be having a look at their pedigree and their confirmation and their action to be want them in your yard, most definitely.
And so looking forward to this jump season upcoming there, and obviously kicks off for fully in the start of October. How many horses have you got in training at the moment? Can you put a number on it? And then in terms of the jump season, how's that going to go for you?
Yeah, we've 125 in training at the moment, so yeah, we're pretty full. Probably 100, 90 to 100 horses to run. The rest be babies that might not get a run, but yeah, numbers are good. Lots of bumper horses this year. Some nice novice hurdlers, and yeah, like I know I keep going back to it, but just looking for that star that everyone's looking for, that Paul Nicholls is looking for, that Nicky Emmons is looking for, just that next real good one. And I'm no different. Some lovely bumper winners from last year, and it's just that exciting time of year, Dan. I can't wait to get going, get them on the track, and kind of see what we got.
And it's hard to maybe pick one horse, but like you can even list off a couple that you're really looking forward to. If I say jump season this season, what are the 3 or 4 horses that you go, I can't wait to see this horse run for the first time?
Probably 3 novice hurdlers. Chasing Fire won a bumper in Wetherby. Butch got beat in a bumper at Huntingdon, but he's gorgeous, owned by the McNeil family. And another horse to look out for, maybe a horse called Strong Leader, won a bumper in Warwick very well. Listen, I've then got point-to-point winners, Active Authority, Fortunate Soldier. Yeah, I've a list as long as my arm. Just need one of them to turn out a good horse, and
that's it.
We just keep our fingers crossed that one, if not 2 of them, might do.
And it's I know I've heard loads of trainers say this, but I still kind of smile. Like there's a lot of horses that would look well training, I guess, and then not quite bringing on the racetrack and vice versa. And there's just no way of knowing, is there, until they get to the racetrack?
No. I tend to not like a horse that would show me loads and loads at home and be flashy. Okay. I'd like them real workmanlike now, and when the going gets tough, they get down and dirty, you know. I'd rather see that than a big horse around the yard that shows me the whole lot, and the big show off and gets to the track. He's all talk and no trousers, they say. Yeah, you still like to see something at home. I think that when you're jumping horses at home, you can see which horses are athletic and got ability, and you can get a really good idea seeing them down the ring now what you really like.
And just before we move off from the training side of things, in terms of the team you have at the moment, how many guys are working with you currently?
I suppose between part-time and full-time, we'd have a team of 40 with office staff, ground staff, riders, barn managers. So yeah, there's big team, big team behind me. I'm the name at the top of the door, but there's an awful lot of people with an awful lot of responsibility here that keep the wheel going round. So yeah, team Murphy, team Warren Chase is really looking forward to the season, and can't wait to get going.
Yeah, looking forward to ourselves. Take a little bit off horse racing just for a minute or two. Outside of a horse race, and obviously Aston Villa are a massive passion of yours. Yeah,
off tonight actually. Southampton at home, big game.
Massive game Friday night.
I'm not great at relaxing, Dan. Not a lot switches me off. Yeah, I can go to the football and I'm able to turn my phone off and really enjoy it, and golf as well. They're probably the 2 things now that I'd enjoy and be able to switch off.
Yeah, obviously the phone is massive for you with training and owners on. So are you good at, like, during say you're at 90 minutes of Villa, are you good at the first half putting your phone in airplane mode, or are you still kind of keeping an eye on it? Or?
Oh no, I'm relatively good now. It's a massive passion of mine. I think you meet the real Olly Murphy when Villa go 1 down. Yeah, and he's not a very nice person. But no, I love it. I honestly do. It's a massive passion of mine. People have got hospitality at Villa and take clients and friends, and I think they think, who is this guy? We don't have a clue. This guy is a completely different guy than we see in the winners enclosure or down at Warren Chase. But yeah, I love it. Local side to me. It's been a while since we've had a lot to shout about. I actually trained for a few of the did train for a few of the lads. Trained for former manager, and yeah, I love it, Dan. I really do.
Yeah, well, obviously people have had a chance to meet the real Olly Murphy fairly regularly, given Villa's start of the season, I guess.
Yeah, no, very much so. Very much so. Just above the dugout we sit as well. So
Oh, dear, brilliant.
yeah, we're they've had an ordinary start, haven't they? But I think they've got a squad that's well capable of being competitive in a lot of matches. I think Stephen Gerrard's under big pressure. I think he's got to win tonight, and I don't like seeing anyone lose their job, but he's under big pressure to keep the Villa Park faithful on side. They do turn very quick.
Yeah, I'll take the hint from that regarding Gerrard there without throwing you completely under the bus. Golf then is obviously something you enjoy getting out as well.
Yeah, enjoy my golf. Pretty average 18 handicapper, but like getting out, like getting out on the golf course. We play a couple of times a week if I could, kind of during the summer. First cousin of mine, John Murphy, is on the tour now. So take a real good interest in it, and another thing that I'm able to go and do and switch off.
Yeah, and I guess that's important for you, and you've already touched on it. But the racing is, even with the summer jumps and all, it's a 12-month gig, I guess, at times. So it's good to get a break. You're also during the summer as well. You come over to Ireland as well for a little bit. Yeah,
we've got property in Kinsale, so enjoy going over there with friends and family and girlfriend. Beautiful place. Again, the racing's always on the background, but it's a place again I am able to switch off and try and get away for a week or 10 days in January, kind of when we flew that course as well. To Dubai again in January, like we did last year. So important to refuel, to recharge the batteries. It's very full on. Not only 6.5 when we finish, but after that, sat on the couch, you'd have the football on the background. You'd be planning on what horse are going where 10 days later as well. So I love it. I wouldn't swap it for the world. But it's a great job, but it's full on, as you said.
Yeah. No, your passion comes through, Olly, in fairness, and you've been great with your time. Just a little bit of quick fire round there will be quick enough with this. Your best day in racing so far?
Probably training my first Grade 1 winner at Sandown. My mum and dad happened to come racing that day. I had a lot of my senior staff there as well. It was a magic day, and can't wait to try another one.
This is kind of more of a low point in your career so far. Was there any kind of, if I say low point, anything that sticks out in your head? It's a tough question.
Yeah, I suppose everyone gets a kick where it hurts every now and then, and losing horses going to another yard, or losing horses on a racetrack is always very hard to take. But I've been lucky, Dan. I haven't had a real low point as such. But I suppose bring up a Storm and Itchy Feet were favourite and second favourite for an Arkle and a Juice, and they both fell on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. I didn't feel great Wednesday evening now, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and it certainly made me think that racing certainly wasn't an easy game. Yeah,
I just quickly on that with racing and with horses, like you're dealing with animals, and anything can happen in terms of accidents and stuff like that. So that's probably the toughest part of training, I guess.
Oh, 100%. Listen, they're like your kids. You see them every day. They get treatment second to none. So yeah, that's obviously my main priority, is the health and well-being of my horses. That's the tough part, is when horses do get injuries or whatnot. But that's part and parcel of it. Unfortunately, it happens, and we just have to take the rough with the smooth, unfortunately.
Yeah, your best achievement in racing, that could be a one specific race or a season where you're very proud of so far.
Yeah, I suppose probably early on in my training career, training Hunter's Court to win a Ladbroke Hurdle first time up for me. I think it was a day when people went, "Christ, who's this Olly Murphy?" It was special day that. I've trained a couple of four-timers, and winning with horses that other people can't win with, you get a kick out of that as well. So I've had some great days, and really looking forward to plenty more.
If there was a transfer window and you can own one horse outside your yard currently, what horse do you bring into Warren Chase Stables?
Oh God, very, very good question. Very good question. I suppose, his name's actually gone over my head now. The horse and Nicky's, which won the Supreme.
Supreme. Not Shishkin.
I've had a complete break.
Constitution Hill, sorry.
Constitution Hill, yeah.
We didn't know that well, both of us there.
Honestly, by Blue Brazil. He's a monster, Dan. He's an absolute monster. I think whatever he runs in, whether he goes kind of for a champion hurdle or goes for an Arc, I just think bar accident now, he could horse. I'd nearly be surprised to see him get beaten in the short term.
Yeah, fingers crossed we get that honeysuckle battle for sure. Last couple, if you had a dream dinner guest, dead or alive, 3, they don't have to be from the world of racing, who are you bringing?
My girlfriend's just gone out of the office, so thank God I won't have to include her in this. Jack Grealish, absolute idol of mine from his playing days in Aston Villa. And I met him before. Good guy. Doesn't deserve a lot of the bad press he gets, and he's a real good guy. Pep Guardiola, I think he's an absolute magician. I'd love to get inside his head of how he kind of controls everything and the way he runs his dressing room. And I've been lucky enough to spend the morning with Aidan O'Brien and Ballydoyle, but I couldn't ask him enough questions, so I think we'd bring him along again to just ask him a few more.
Jeez, wasn't expecting that. Is there a TV series or anything that you enjoy switching off? You mentioned
I'm not great on the old TV now. I usually let Miller get on with her Home and Away or whatever she watches. But I enjoy those All or Nothing series following. Obviously the one on Pep, one on Jose Mourinho, and the one on Mikel Arteta at the moment. I do enjoy them.
Yeah, massive Arsenal fan here, so yeah, that's a big thumbs up for me. And you're at the Arsenal away game, I saw.
I was, yeah. It wasn't too pretty now being a Villa fan sat in the away in the away end, but good ground. I thought they were a good side actually. I thought they were looked a real solid side.
And last question then, best advice you've ever received, Ollie, or does anything stand out? A tough question again. Keep
yourself in the best company and your horse in the worst, and you'll train plenty of winners. I
like that.
So Gordon always told me, winning the sales ring, you're winning the racetrack as well, and that is the truest thing you'd be told. If you don't win the sales ring, then you ain't training winners. So those were 2 real good bits of advice I was given.
Ollie, thanks a million for coming on.
Great stuff. Good to see you. Okay.